Welcome to Starseed Gathering Podcast, hosted by Annabelle Ivaya, deep soul healer, author, and spiritual mentor. We invite you to dive into ascension, spiritual awakening, and psychic abilities together. With this beautiful guest of ours today, be sure that your senses, your consciousness, and your level of awareness will rise for your highest good. Open your heart. Let your higher self show you what is the most important part of this conversation for your path at this moment, and leave anything that doesn't resonate behind. If you feel like you need any support at any time, please reach out to me or my guest so that we can support you in your spiritual path. With so much love, enjoy the content. Beautiful souls, welcome to Starseed Gathering, the podcast. We are here with Tara. She's a beautiful empowerment medium, and she's here to speak about her awakening and what she does for a living and how it's been going on for her. So I'm super excited to have you and discuss. You're on the other side of well, not the planet, but at least the country. Welcome, Tara. Talk to me a bit more about who you are and tell our beautiful viewers a bit more about you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. There's nothing I like more than to talk about spiritualism and the connections between ourselves, body, mind, and spirit. So I'm always excited to be a part of these broadcasts, and you have a beautiful energy that I'm just so happy to be a part of. So thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm excited to have you here too.
So let's start with what is an empowerment medium? Let's just get that like right off our chest right away. So an empowerment medium is, I am a trance medium. I am a evidential medium. That is all the cool terms that you can use. But the reason that I go with empowerment medium, Annabelle, is because my contract with spirit is different. I've been doing this work as a medium for 22 plus years. I think if you really get down and dirty, it's 25 plus years, but you know, who's counting? That makes me feel old, and we need to feel old. So I've been doing this work a long time. And what I discovered in my channeled messages, in my connections with spirit, the connections with my clients and their loved ones, was that I am more than just an evidential medium. I am more than just bringing that individual through, or if I'm doing trance, bringing that higher vibrational being through. I am really helping people find their inner strength and their power through spirit. So some people go to therapists, and that is wholeheartedly what people should do. Right? I don't claim to be a spirit. I do claim to be a spiritualist. I don't claim to be a therapist or a counselor or anything, because all my work is channeled, right? So as an empowerment medium, I say to spirit, okay, what does Annabelle need to know? What is for her highest and best that allows her to continue to move forward in a positive manner? There are a lot of people, and you know this, baby, there are a lot of people that focus on people's past. I'm not afraid of the past, but the past is the past. And if you're living in the past, you can't be present. And if you're not present, you can't be creating your future. And one of the biggest, most mind-blowing channelings I ever did, my highest master teacher is Kuan Yin. So I channel her very easily. And she taught me very early on in my work that we do not have destiny and fate. We have the ability to create. And she really focused on, in this particular channeling, she focused on our personal responsibility to ourselves and our free will choice. And a lot of people don't focus on that. There's a lot of fad words in what I see in the metaphysical spiritual world. You know, past life regression, Akashic records, these things come up, destiny, fate. I had someone sit in my room yesterday and told me that another medium told her she had a demon attached to her. She needed to cut cords. All those things are relevant in different ways, but they are not necessarily the deep work that needs to be done. And the deep work that needs to be done is that you need to see yourself as worthy. Hard stop, period. Go and do the cord cutting. Go and see your Akashic records. I love all of that. But what I'm saying is we need to see ourselves as spirit having that human experience, but really having that human experience. We need to explore all the ins and outs, the goods, the bads, the ugly, and then we need to process it and move out of it into the next lesson, into the next. And lesson is one of those things that always gets me too. Everything is a lesson. Not wrong, but it sounds cliche after a while. So when I said to Spirit, what is it I'm doing? Like, what is it? Like, where is my power? Where is my strength? Where is my, my sword that She-Ra holds, right? Like, what am I doing? And they said, you're just helping people see the best in themselves and move them forward. And if that is through a loved one coming through and giving you a message of solace, right? If that's coming through there, or if that is a channeled message from a higher vibrational being, be that angelic, be it a higher ascended master, be it that way, or maybe you literally are letting their guides tell you what they need to hear. And most of the time it is get out of the mud, sweetheart. Stop being stuck in the mud and see yourself as powerful and worthy. And that's what an empowerment medium is in a
Oh,
nutshell.
wow. I love so much about what you're saying because I know, like a lot of us that work in this space, we meet our clients where they're at and they've heard so many stories and they've heard so many things. And for me, it's so important if there's anything attached to you that's like hindering you, we'll detach it together so that you're not like leaving. Oh my God, I have this thing on me or this negative energy and I don't know what to do with it. I feel like sometimes this is disempowering to me. That's how I feel it because then people are scared and then and there's so much happening in the spiritual community and sometimes those experiences they can make people scared to come back to us again because they're like it was scary, I don't know. And then after I saw this person I was not feeling okay, I didn't know where to go. And I love what you're saying in empowerment, although I'm not being calling myself an empowerment medium, but I do love the empowerment that we actually, all of the process is for you to be able to have the tools to move forward in your life. And you're so true when you're saying, there's so much light. And yes, we are all have our traumas. We all have very difficult challenges. And there's nobody that just can say, I'm done. Everything is perfect in my life. We all have ups and downs. But how can you remember all of this strength and this light you have within you? And I love that spirit and all of those beautiful spirit guides are coming through you to support you in this work. I think it's very honorable.
Aw, yeah, and here's a beautiful thing. You just touched on something so relevant in this work. There are so many people that are doing this work right now. They're coming out of the woodwork, baby. I don't know, social media popped, and all of a sudden everyone was a psychic and everyone is a medium. And the thing is, everyone is a psychic and everyone is a medium. Not everyone should do the work. And there's a huge difference in that. And this poor lady, you hit it like right on the nail on the head. This poor lady came to me and she wasn't really interested in anything but having this thing unraveled in front of her. She said to me, I was giving her the messages, talking to her, and she's like, I need to say something. And she told me that this woman told her this. And I literally, because I'm a Scorpio baby, and if my mouth doesn't say it, my face will. And I've been kicked many times under a table, but I literally was like, she told you that. She told you that you have a cord to an ex-partner that you need to sever because there's a demon at the end of it. I said, what kind of nonsense is this? I said, and the poor lady is just not, she's not a spiritual person, right? She went to get a reading. She did it on a whim. And here we are stuck in that space. And you're right, it did scare her. It caused her to think about it over and over and over again. And I always say there's no such things as hexes or curses. All that stuff, you can come and fight me. This is my belief, it's my opinion. If you believe in a curse, then you're cursed. Right? It's a mind game. And what this lady did, and I said this to her, I said, well, did she eventually tell you that she could sever the cord for $5,000? Is that the next step? Because that's generally, Annabelle, what happens next is these guys come in and they tell these people these things that to scare them. And then they come in with the big, well, you know what? I can fix that for you, but it'll cost you my work. And I was like, oh, she didn't actually, the woman didn't do that because I'm pretty sure that the poor lady that was there was like, what are you talking about? And the woman could feel that she wasn't going to get anywhere. But she did. She scared her. So as an empowerment medium, my platform is not only to help individuals like this beautiful soul that came and sat down and gave me the time of day to help her out, trusted me that I would be able to help her, which she had someone recommend me to her after I'm sure she was like, I'm not trusting anyone anymore. Someone find someone for me. I also help people that actually are starting off their spiritual journey as a practitioner or who are looking to go into being a practitioner. I help them get the etiquette down. There are things that need to be taught and known before you can go out there and start saying to people, hey, I can help you. Ethically, you need to have some kind of experience in this work before you can start telling people, I can cure you or I can, and none of that resonates. Everything should be coming from that place, Annabelle, and I'm sure you feel this too, should be coming from that place of good come to me, good go through me.
Definitely.
Right? If you want to do, you want to be the next, medium, what do you need to know for your highest and best? That's going to help you be the highest and best for others. And one of the biggest things I teach people that come to me for mentorship is this. It is not about the quantity of people you have following you. It is not about, you being on every platform. Now, I'm going to say that, babies, and I am on every platform. I have a TikTok, I have YouTube, I have all these things. So don't take this the wrong way. But I am not obsessed with getting views. I am not obsessed with how many people are following me. So it's quality over quantity. For
Definitely.
me, I have a following that's been following me for 20 plus years, pre social media explosion,
Right, right, right.
right? And they still come to me for reading, and it's helped me expand to be able to do this other work. But it's never, ever should be about anything other than good come to me, good go through me. So if I'm doing good for others, whether that is a mentorship program or a client, then I'm receiving validation for the work I'm doing through spirit, sometimes a healing, right? The past year has been hard. I lost my son in June of 2023. So I've had to do a lot of work in my humanness around it. Very easy to go to spirit with that.
Yes.
Right?
Right,
Super easy.
right.
But I'm here and I'm still doing the work for everyone because that's what I'm meant to do.
Yeah, what a traumatic shift and change in your life. I mean, those losses, right? It really feels like time stops and it's like, what the F? I'm like, what am I gonna do now? And it's like crumbling and like probably like never before. So thank you for sharing this very, very delicate part of your last year. Um, yeah,
I
sending
will
you so
say
much love.
something to you though, Annabelle, not to cut you off. I'm terrible at that, by the way. I just keep talking. But I will say this. Being a medium, I made a conscious choice the moment that the shock had worn off a little bit. I made a conscious choice not to be etheric with it, to deal with it at a very human level, because all the etheric will happen for me anyway. The signs will happen regardless. I'll just be able to process them and see them better than other people may, right? So that
Right.
was super cool. But you know what, one of the biggest things I did when this happened with my boo is I said to my spiritual community, do not, and this is going to sound strange to people because most people would be like, bring him in. I want all the messages from my loved one that crossed over.
Right, right,
I
right. Some
did.
people, you probably had them anyway on your own, no?
Well,
I
I had the
imagine.
signs. I didn't want that conversation. I wasn't ready for a conversation with Ryan. I
Right.
wasn't ready for that. So what I did is I said to my spiritual community, do not come to me with a message from Ryan.
And I love that you set this boundary because it would be so easy to just let yourself being flown and being like, oh my God, it's so overwhelming. I don't think I wanted that anyway in the first place. Oh,
And
it's
that's what would have
beautiful.
happened. You are 100% correct. That's exactly what would have happened. The other thing is, I was very worried that a lot of people, because I have a lot of connections in my local community as well. So I work with the spirituals church and I do events. I run psychic and wellness fairs. I do a lot with the spiritual community. I didn't want people to come into my space and start providing what they thought was a message from Ryan, because I would be able to tell. And then I was worried that this would change relationships. And I was like, no,
Right.
just
Right.
everyone stop. I just want the signs. And he shows them consistently, not as
Mhm.
often as he did at the beginning, which is standard. It's par for the course. I know this. I can accept that. But he shows them when I need them. And that is enough. That is enough.
I love that. And I understand because then people can I think it's probably unconscious. I don't think people would consciously want to do that. Maybe some, but like, well, you need help. Let me help you because I have this gift too, and I can share all of those things about your son, and it's gonna make you feel so much better. And it's just like, yeah, but like now I'm actually working and I'm okay. I don't want to feel like crumbling into like sadness right now. I'm dealing with my grief on my own. Thank you very
And would
much.
it actually help me? Like, would
Right.
it actually help me? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think for me, it's just easier to do the work that I do. And now I have a different viewpoint. Honestly, Annabelle, when I'm working with my clients, I don't do a ton of one-on-one anymore. I'm very selective in the one-on-one work. But now I have this place of true understanding, the grief, the sadness, the sorrow in their eyes. Like I can look at that and see it from a whole different compassionate space. And I think that's why you see a lot of mediums that have had a huge loss like that, a loved one, a partner, a child, a parent. You see how they connect a bit differently. But again, there is an authenticity that has to be with the individual that's doing this work, because like I said, there's a lot of people that have come out of the woodwork and are giving readings and messages and whatnot. And mediumship is the foundation of all spiritual work, right? I mean, you cannot be an energy practitioner if you can't connect to the energy, and that's what a medium is, right? So there's a lot of people out there, and I don't know what your thoughts are about the state of the influx, let's say, of people out there. But there are times that I kind of get onto spiritual TikTok and I wish I could get off that roller coaster because
Mm.
that's that scares me. It angers me in some ways. I'm saying that there's many people that can do the work. And but there's many people that are doing the weirdest stuff on the internet under the
Right.
under the guise of being spiritual or metaphysical.
Right. And I understand what you mean. I mean, for me, in this whole development of my own psychic abilities and everything, I've seen teachers have coming from a very different perspective than my authentic Annabelle that wants deeply in our heart to make, a change in the spiritual community and make sure that the people that are connecting to me are aligned with what I do and that, I can support people because not everybody is a match and it's okay too. That's why we're so many. But of course there's people that come from a different perspective, and for me, as what you said earlier, that's what I came about to realize, that some of the big people with a lot of followers, they do a lot of that for the money. They don't do it really from a place of authenticity, of wanting to support. And that really broke my heart when I actually kind of understood that. Like, I think we all come into the spiritual world thinking everybody's so nice and everybody's gonna have like this beautiful heart, and they're like trusting. You're actually trusting because you feel, that you think they're good. But I think, like, what I'm understanding from what you shared and what we're talking about right now, it's also very important to everyone watching this and listening to both of us now and wherever. You need to develop your discernment. If the message that you're receiving doesn't feel right, shift. Like, don't watch something that's gonna make you feel bad, or don't go to someone that actually is gonna take your power away. This is so important. We're here. Spiritual community is not completely cleansed from dark energies. Very far from that. It was one of the most infiltrated community because of that, because we can get to into all of those different realms and tell people what to do and how to heal and this and that. But you need to get tools to develop, okay, how does it feel when I listen to Annabelle, when I listen to Tara? Like, how does it feel when I watch this video? If I do this meditation, do I feel very tired after and I feel like energy's been siphoned out of me, or do I actually feel empowered and aligned? So very important, very important.
And that brings to the forefront, exchange for this kind of work. We see all these people, and you look at the big ones, the ones that are household names, right? I'm not going to get into it. I'm not here to slander anyone. Everyone's got their reasons for what they do, and I don't have to agree with them. That's my humble opinion, but you get that back and forth. So there's the one hand, you have to charge. You have to charge an exchange. Now, I've said this before. Don't all come at me with a can of soup, but I've done readings for people for literally a can of soup, a frozen salmon. The exchange is important. I give a lot away at no cost. I do a lot of lives for free. I do things because I want to. I want to because it makes me feel good. And I know there's people out there that just need one little thing and they don't need a whole 45-minute reading or whatever. But people will come at me, and I love this. And they do this mostly on Facebook. TikTok is a whole crazy live thing. Like, that is just something. I don't know if you've done a TikTok live yet, Lovey, but that blew me so far out of the water. My poor assistant beside me was like trying to write down all these questions. And I was just like, oh, okay, we just need to authenticize ourselves again, get back into our space. But Facebook, I would say to them, hey, if you love what I'm doing for you, you want to ensure that you are going to get a message. I love espressos. Send me an espresso. It's literally like a rose, which is like, I think, $1. And I have no problem doing that. If you respect my time, right? I'm on here. I don't require it. But if you want to make sure you get my attention, that's how you do it. There's a good chance you'll get a reading anyway. And then I got this influx of people. Oh, you're just doing this for the money. So 60 minutes for one cup of coffee makes me a money hungry. And I just wrote back and I just smiled and I said to them, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's all I said. I'm sorry you feel that way. So I acknowledged what they were saying, but I didn't agree with it because it's just it's one thing or the other. Either you don't charge and you should do everything for free because you're a spiritualist, and this should be like some kind of calling. This is not a gift. Can I just say that to everyone watching? Hello, audience. This is not a gift. We can all do this work. Not everyone should do this work. You have to be able to do the good come to me, good come through me aspect of it. You have to be coming from the right place, and you have to be authentically connected. People talk about whether you can develop this. Either you are a generational. No. The generational aspect of it, in my humble opinion, would be how easy it is for you to connect. Right? But everyone can do this work. Not everyone should do it. Not everyone should do it. If you're not inclined to do it, don't do it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right. It reminds me, actually, a medium, the first one I've ever met. Like, I had seen like a healer, but like a pure medium. And I was shocked after the session. I went with a girlfriend of mine and we were like, oh my God, like we were young, right? And we were like, let's go together because I'm kind of scared. And she was doing that in her house. And she was starting to speak very, very, very fast about from spirit. I don't know. But and then it was like very hard to follow. And we were both like, what is happening? And both of us came out with messages. And we were like, I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened. And we were like, actually, like, I don't think I'm gonna see a medium again. Actually, I had that thought, right? I had that thought, and I was young and I didn't know. So it's like, I think it's, again, we're going back to this thing, right? It's like, if you're doing it from a place of I'm supporting, and as you said, for me, I'm gonna only channel the highest messages. That's what I need to channel. That the rest of it there. Because I remember this lady was channeling so many weird things for me. And I was like, my uncle would not say that. This is very weird. And it makes me feel very uncomfortable. And I was like, how, like, why would you say that to me? It was not supportive at all. So I had the experience many years
That's a
ago.
valid experience though, Annabelle, and I'm so glad like you said that, because the thing is, that woman obviously did not sit with someone, right? She probably wasn't in a circle, or she didn't have a mentor or someone. And the mentorship really comes from a place of, here is what you can do to hold your space, your integrity, your authenticity, and that people will get what they need from you. Because, like you said, you came out of there going, what the HE double hockey sticks was that? Like,
Right.
what was that? I didn't understand any of that. She was going too fast. So she had no tools to actually give you the message. Just like this lady that I was talking about earlier saying, oh, you're connected to a guy, you've got a cord you got to sever, and there's a demon on the end of it. Again, how is that truthfully helping her? Now, you might say, well, she told her to sever the cord and get rid of the demon. No, what she did is she planted an idea in this girl's mind, this woman, not a girl, woman, this woman's mind, that she was stuck with this ex relationship with an invisible cord. I mean, that's the other thing you have to look at. What kind of work are you really doing? Are you, I do soul retrieval. So I help people bring pieces of themselves back. Not the traditional way. I do it the way spirit has given it to me. And I think what happens in this kind of work, Annabelle, if you'll let me just expand for a moment, I think what really happens is people find these nuances in it. Oh, I'm going to do cord cutting. Oh, I'm going to do Akashic records. Oh, I'm going to talk about whatever the nuance is at the time, because one, it probably makes them feel really good. They love the idea of it. But two, it's something that they can place in front of someone and say, this is what's going on with you. And it doesn't make sense to 99% of the people that come for a reading. They don't understand it. In a 30-minute session, you have to be able to unravel that for that person, tell them why this happened or is happening or is, and how they can deal with it. And I'm going to guarantee you, most people don't accomplish that. So then you start going into these 60-minute sessions, these 90-minute sessions, come into it. I love authentic energy practitioners, the ones that come in, do the light work, move through things, and help you on your way. But what I really love, Annabelle, and here's the catch, my babies, this is what I love. I love the people that teach you the actual tools to do the work yourself.
Exactly. That's empowerment to the T. Yes.
That is my whole jam, is that I want you to be able to walk out of a reading, one, knowing how to feel. If it's evidential mediumship, I want you to walk out of there feeling that I brought your loved one through, I provided you the evidence, the message, because for me the message is actually far more important than the evidence. Shh. But it's far more important, and that I've given you something so that you can feel this individual when you need to. I'm going to put myself out of business, baby. Right? That's the kind of work. If you want to work in your higher self, I'm going to give you all the tools to do that. What you do with it is up to you.
Definitely, definitely. Because I think that's what happens, right? We want to help the clients also that are ready to do the change and make the changes in their life, right? It's good to have different tools. It's good to have different perception and untangle the energies and whatever else. But then exactly, you have the tools now. What are you gonna do with them? That's up to you.
That's up to
Yeah.
you. And sometimes I think people get confused. If you're not working in the spiritual realm, if you're not inclined to, but you've come for a reading and this is what we're seeing that's going on, I think sometimes they get confused when I talk about those tools. And I've tried to make my work a little more clearer in this regard. And I'm saying, oh, sweetie, I'm not trying to make you an intuitive medium or a energy practitioner. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about giving you tools to live your highest and best life here on this realm. That's what. Now, if you spark some kind of fire underneath you, you invoke something that makes you feel like, hey, I did the work, I can feel my empowerment, and now I feel more inclined to help other people. That's different too. I just want the person, no matter who they are, no matter what their reason for doing the work is, to receive the tools and to use the tools if they are so inclined. That is my goal, bar none, baby. Whether you're coming to me for mentorship, you're coming to me for soul retrieval, you're coming to me for just evidential mediumship, whatever it is. Demon cutting, I don't know what that was. I just literally said, no demon, no demon, baby. Get rid of that idea, because you said something about negative energy. You said dark and negative. There's always light and dark. There's always positive and negative and good and bad and blah, blah, blah. But you choose what you sit in. And just because someone says to you that there is a demon, oh my Lord, there's a demon around you. If you believe that, you're following someone else's path, not yours. But
Yeah.
people are susceptible. That's how scams happen all the time.
Right. Because, you know, for us, we've been learning and like through spirit, through courses, through so many different things, right? So the years of practice, I've seen darkness, of course, and I've seen the light, and I've seen both, and they coexist. But exactly, like I think that a lot of the time we all know that, right? We focus on kind of persist anyway. So what do you want to have more expansion inside of your life? Like, do you want to have more light? Well, of course, it's not about like just pushing away the darkness, because you have to look at it and just release it. But there is also like, if you're always in this, okay, there's like, as you said earlier, right? I'm cursed and everything is always going back for me, and all of this victimhood, it's very
Oh,
difficult to come out of this loop. So a lot of the times what we do when we are in this empowerment energy work type of thing, we want to give you the tools. So it's like, okay, we're going to cleanse your energy. And now you step out of this room or this call feeling that you are a different person. You're reconnected to your essence. Okay, now what do you want to do with your life at that point?
truth. That's it right there. I think that most people don't realize it's not a one-off thing. When you are releasing work, it's not you're going to come in and do one session with me and you're released. I'm going to teach you how to
Right.
release. And that's the thing, though. They'll come back to me and they'll be like, "Oh no, I took care of that." I'll be giving them a message and I'll be like, "So let's just have a moment. If spirit is bringing this through now for you, maybe there needs to be a little more work done." And I always use this analogy. It takes 5 minutes to put on 5 pounds, and it takes 5 years to take it off. If you've been holding something for a very, very long time, the more that you've been holding, the longer you've been holding on to that boo, the harder you're going to have to work to get rid of it. So the one and done for most true work, and this is even with counseling, like Western medicine
Exactly.
kind of
Yeah.
work, it's all the same thing. It's not a one and done, but I'm going to give you the tool and you're going to attempt to do the work yourself after the first session. And if it doesn't, you need to come back, then come back. But I want you to try it at home. I want you to give that a shot. I can tell you all the right things to say, and how to do that work, but you've got to want to do it. You've got to want to do it. And you said victimhood, and that is something that we are actually taught from the time that we take our first breath to be. We need to look after ourselves at a better, light way than we do. And we don't. We are told we're selfish.
Right. Such a yeah. It was years of deprogramming to be able to go back. And it's easy to go back there when something is going wrong. It's like the door is always a little open. Now, at least with the level of consciousness and awareness, you're like, oh man, okay, I was going there. No. And then you bring yourself back. But it's a trap, right? It's a trap of lower consciousness. It's a trap which, well, keeps you in this empowered state, which is well, we could talk about how much more controllable and everything else we are in that state, but we're not gonna get there. But yeah, so being present with your heart, being present with what you need, and when you're receiving messages from your intuition, when you're receiving message from a loved one, from a session you have with a healer, with a medium, taking the time, taking it in, and like seeing how those messages make sense to you, and you know, journaling, doing whatever makes you feel better, so that you reconnect to this very important person. The most important person in your life is you.
Absolutely.
Even if it's not what you're told. Right.
Absolutely. Hard stop, no lie detected girlfriend. This is the truth. And people sometimes, they are so comfortable in their discomfort, right? They're so comfortable in there, or they release something and they don't know what to fill it up with. I always say, if you don't know what you want to manifest, baby, self-love works, self-worth works, a little bit of extra never hurt anyone. It's not going to make you egotistical. Healthy ego is good. Go back to that space. But a lot of people find it hard to do the work, and that's why they come to us. Help me, help me, help me, help me. So I actually have boundaries with that. So someone can come and see me and we'll do the work, and I will always support them. Always. But I do not allow people to come back like 3 weeks later and be like, it didn't work for me. I don't. I'm like, you've got to give it a little while. Nothing has changed because you're not sitting in there. I'll tweak something for them, give them a little two sentence, paragraph, whatever to them saying, hey, try this. I want them to give it a good shot first. Right? I want them to give them a good shot first. It's easy to go to someone to get fixed.
Right. And we all know it's not working. The universe not gonna let you get fixed by anyone or healed by anyone.
No.
We're like, I think that's what we remember, right? We're like lanterns on a beautiful path, and we're just lighting up the lanterns there and the lights so that you see the path in front of you, but
Oh,
you
I
have to
love
walk
that.
this path, right? You have to walk this path. I'm not gonna push you the whole way.
And that's the thing though. That's what happens is people become dependent on you, right? And I love the ones that suddenly think we are on a deep friend level all of a sudden. And I would love to be everyone's bestie. But Tara needs some Tara time, right? So, as a light worker, someone who sees, a lot of clients and tries to do the best that she can for as many people as she can, light workers have to set their boundaries and stick to their boundaries. You have to set those boundaries. And it's taken a long time for me to do that because as a Scorpio, I'm also a Manny Jenny. So if no one knows what that means in human design, I'm a manifestor generator. So that means I'm constantly trying to create and do and go. And that's consuming. Yeah, that most of us that do this work are. It's consuming. So to have people suddenly attach their whole being on your word, that's where the psychic vampires come in, right? That's when that energy is being siphoned out of you, and suddenly your everyday existence, none of us should be working 24/7 in the etheric ever. And that's why people always laugh at me when they're like, how do you just come in and out of spirit? You're like a light switch. You go on and off. I taught myself that. It came pretty naturally, no lie. But I taught myself that because I could not be. My kids were into high level sports. We traveled all over, the United States, Canada. My daughter danced in Japan. So I had to be able to be in my humanness and not always connecting. Can you imagine if I walked into the school
Right.
every day and just open,
Right.
right? You have to do
Mm.
that. And I think that people also find mediumship very fascinating. It's just people love that, oh, you're a medium? And they have a barrage of questions. So I don't always put it out there either. Right? I'm not sitting at a lacrosse game when Ryan was still with us and having all these parents around me. Oh, what do you do for a living? I literally said, oh, I'm just an aide to someone. Someone being source, I guess. I don't know who the someone was. Maybe it was Archangel Raphael that day. I don't know who I was working with. But I was like, oh, I'm just an aide. I just help. I'm just an assistant. Because the moment you say you're a medium or you're an energy healer, subconsciously or consciously, unknowing or knowingly, they want something from you. They want to ask you questions. They want something from you. And I think that we all deserve to have our space be respected. And sometimes that literally is by not telling the full truth, right? Or,
Right.
I am an assistant to someone.
Right.
Right? I am assisting someone when I'm working, right? I don't know, like I said, if it's Mary Magdalene or, Auntie Sue, but I am being, but it's easier for me. And one of the things I would highly recommend to anyone that is looking to do this work on a regular basis, this is my full-time work. I have done this work full-time for 18 plus years. Full-time.
Beautiful.
That's all I do is spiritual work and a little bit of dog rescue, but that's for another day. And so I would highly recommend to anyone that's going to do this work is find a mentor, someone you trust, someone that is one, not just going to give you frivolous little drops of like, oh, well, make sure you cleanse your house when you're done. I'm talking about people that are going to give you the tangibles. Don't step off platform when you're doing the work. Don't go into other people's energy. You're just going to be bombarded. Make sure the white light is around you when you're doing the work for your benefit, not everyone else's, for your benefit. Those things. Be taught how to actually do the work. And I'm not talking about the connection portion of it, although if you don't have that, you will need to be taught that. I'm talking about the etiquette to being able to work with people. There is an etiquette to this work, and I'm seeing way less of that etiquette more now than ever because everyone's just popping on.
Right.
And a 3-day course is not going to do it, babies. A 3-day course, I will always go back to my rabbit hole. If you ever listen to any of my podcasts or anything, it's called Tara's Triggers. And one of my biggest triggers that's not the name of the podcast. That's just some of the episodes. And one of the biggest things we talk about is these people like Doreen Virtue, who sold millions of decks of cards based on spiritual beings, the archangels, all of this. And then one day had this awakening, and all of a sudden we were all terrible people. And she discounted, she said she was a fraud, and we are all frauds, and whatever. I literally choke. First of all, I didn't find out she did that for like 3 years after she'd done it, because I was never
Mm.
connected to her. She meant nothing to me. I didn't follow her work. I think I have 2 decks. I still have them. I still use them because it's not about her. The decks are good. The decks are, she doesn't carry energy in her decks. Anyway, but when I found out about that, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Well done, sister. You made your millions. And I don't know. I could get a little spicy and be like, well, maybe her sales were going down because now she sells a different type of deck of cards.
Mm. Yeah, we see so many different colors and people in this area. And I love that you're talking about mentorship and being supported and knowing how to do work. And I think when I started, that's what I knew I needed, because I was like, I want to make sure I'm not hurting anyone. I want to make sure that what I'm channeling is good, what I'm doing is correct, and that I'm protected. And I also did working hours. I was spirit. These hours I'm working. When I'm not working, I'm not working. You don't have to knock at my door with all of those
Yes.
messages unless I'm like with someone that really needs it, and it's like one off, really kind of, usually will be friends or somebody, right?
Yeah,
Close
no.
to me. But yeah, and I've taught that to the people that work with me, because I'm like, you don't have to work 24/7. You do need to sleep, Yeah, I remember some mediums, they were like, I can't sleep. I always have like spirit coming at night. Yeah, even if the portal is very open at night, they can actually leave you alone. They don't have You don't have to receive them.
I think that is the
Right.
biggest misconstrued conception about working with spirit. I'm sorry. Do you not have guides that you work with that can shut that portal? I have a do not disturb. When I go
Exactly.
to sleep, I have do not disturb. Like, don't come to me unless it's in a dream that I can just allow it to come through and do the work. I do not want to be woken up. I need my beauty sleep, baby. I'm getting older. I want my beauty sleep. But again, on another note with all of this brings us back to that mentorship program kind of work. A mentorship should not also cost you your house. You do not have to sell your child to learn how to do the work ethically and well. And I think that is another thing that totally, I think I just gave, if Nancy's watching this, Nancy, we have another episode, Tara's triggers 975,000, but these people that charge these astronomical prices to help people become their highest and best self. I'm not judging them. I'm just saying that doesn't resonate with me. I want people to do the work. I don't want them to feel like they've now gone into massive debt. I'll never forget one lady, Annabelle, I'm going to share this with you. I was taking a one-off class with her. I was kind of interested in what she was having to offer, more from the business aspect than her spiritual gifts. Do you understand? And so we were in this Zoom call, and she started talking about her next, what she had available, for her next classes, and it was a mentorship program, and et cetera, et cetera. And when she said the price, I literally turned off my camera on Zoom because I was like, oh my God. And she started talking about, no lie detected, she started talking about how you could sell your clothes. When she was looking to do a class and she didn't have that income, she started to sell her clothes out of her closet. And I was like, no. And that was it. I just took myself right out of the whole thing.
Right. I had somebody told me that too. Well, if you really want to attend my classes, you can there's a bunch of things you can if you don't have the money right now.
That
And I
was
was
it.
like, all right, yeah, let's put some more mortgage on the house. Let's put
Put
like,
it on the
yeah.
credit card. I was just like,
Right.
oh my goodness. I mean, payment plans are great for sure. And I think all of us that have um, higher valued content do have those kinds of things. But I am not like dipping into my kids' like retirement, my kids' retirement fund. That's my retirement fund. I'm not dipping into it. I'm not dipping into it. You know what? I'll take the little classes here and there, take what resonates with me, and spirit will provide me with the rest if it's meant to be.
Right. And I think that's something also I've learned through my process, that at some point my guides were like, enough the classes, enough the courses, connect to you, connect to your higher self, connect to us.
You're
You don't
ready.
need more. You don't need more. It's enough. It's enough, because it's
Yeah,
like it becomes like a dependence, right? You're like, okay, I know I want this, I want this. And then sometimes the ego wants you to have like all of those certificates, never ends. But yeah, at some point, and it's very, very, very fulfilling to connect to your own team, to your own spirit guides, and meditate and receive messages and be inspired from your own energy instead of always taking something from the outside.
absolutely. Absolutely.
If people want to connect to you, you have a podcast, you have all of your services. Do you want to share a little bit? I think you have a group too, so
I
please share
do.
everything that you want to share with everyone.
So all my platforms are Spirit Essence by Tara Diana. So those are all my platforms. I do have a beautiful Facebook private group. And I want to state this. This group is meant for people who love the spiritual, metaphysical community to come in and share posts of value, ask questions. This is not a place where you come and advertise, your next classes, although you might see me do that, a little bit of that, but it's not like that. It legitimately is, come in, let's have a conversation. So it's called Empowering Intuitive Souls. And I would love to see more people in there. Again, I'm not actively seeking out people. If you feel like it resonates, come into the group, join us. We want you there. We would love to see you. And of course, I have my podcast, Spirit Angels and Guides, oh my, on all the streaming platforms, with the lovely animal communicator Nancy Brady as my co-host. And together we have it's fun. It's just one of those bantering back and forth. And like I said, if you want to hear all the things about the spiritual world that bother me, come to that podcast. We also do a lot of good enlightened work there as well.
Perfect. And if they want a one-on-one with you, I guess everything will be on your website anyway.
Check out the website, baby. It's all there. You're welcome to send me a message as well there. I will happily give you a quick response and see if I can help you in any way. I just want to say, Annabelle, though, thank you for having me. I so appreciate these moments.
You're so welcome. It was a pleasure to see you here. And everybody is down below. You just have to check it out. Connect with her in any way you want. And we wish you all a very beautiful day. Thank you again, Tara, for your presence and your light.
Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it.